using the large brush. Really work this color into the bristles. Just beat it into the bristles. And let's just make a happy little sky real quick. The sky, I think, will probably disappear, so we'll just put a very simple, basic little sky. Go from there and see what happens. Work this paint back and forth, making little crisscross patterns. There we go. Just a nice, quick, gentle little sky. Now, without cleaning the brush, I think I'll just go right into some Van Dyke brown. A little bit of burnt umber, just mix it on the brush. And some sap green. Maybe a tiny little bit of Prussian blue. Just very dark, nice colors. And let's just go right in here and begin dropping in some happy little trees and bushes, and let's just see what happens. Just let them flow off your brush. Look at there already. Already we got all those good things happening. Maybe there's a big one over here. Just drop them in. Okay, a little brown, sap green, touch of blue. Maybe there's a large one over here too. We'll just sort of close this one in. Push, you need to bend these bristles. There we go. This is one reason you need a very, very strong easel. If you've noticed the easel that I'm using here, it's made from a platform ladder that you can pick up at most any hardware store, or you can use any type of ladder. But it makes a very, very strong, dependable easel. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the Van Dyke brown and just lay a little right in here and pop upward, just to put some dark color back in there. All we're doing is touching, pop up. Just like so. Just here and there. And now I'm going to take the fan brush. We'll load some brown and some umber mixed together here. There we are. And we'll just put a few little indications of some trunks back in here. Just some little background trees. Maybe some little indications here and there. There. Oops, there's one that's nice and crooked. Hate for them all to be straight. Maybe a fisherman kicked that one when he was just a little baby and he's got a little crook in him. There we go. Just here and there. Drop in a few of these little trunks. All right. Now we can take the 1-inch brush, add a little bit of magic white to it, and let's begin highlighting these. And I'll use a little bit of cad yellow, a little touch more of the magic white. Cad yellow and some sap green. Yellow and green mixed together. Mix it on the brush so you have a multitude of colors happening in the brush. Okay, now we can begin highlighting some of these. Just touch, let all those little leaves just come right off your brush. Hey, maybe a little on this little tree. And now I'm beginning to add just a tiny, tiny bit of ochre to it, yellow ochre, just to change the color a little bit. And at home you can do these in any color that you like, any color. It's really the technique that we're trying to teach here. These colors stand out very well on television, so we use colors that are quite bright. But you can use very subdued, quiet colors at home. Whatever makes you happy, because this is your world. Add a little touch of permanent red to it now. Just to change the flavor. There we go. Okay. Let's get a clean brush. A little bit more of the yellow and the sap green. Once again, mix it on the brush. And we'll go right in here and, oh, look at there. Nice little bush happening right there. All kinds of little things going on in the background. There we go. Now, I want to take this brown that I put on here. I want to take the large brush, grab a hold of it, and begin pulling down. Just sort of let these little paintings just happen. And you noticed another thing here, we've put no color into the water. All we're going to use for color in the water is what we pull down. You don't have to go to a lot of trouble and put color in here. All you do is pull it down, just wipe across to give it a nice watery sheen. And it looks like water without doing a thing. Okay, let's take a little touch more of the Van Dyke brown. This is mixed with a little bit of the ochre, and begin forming some little banks back in here. There. Just let these little banks happen. Now I'll take a little brown and white and the least little touch of blue in it. There we go. Maybe a touch more of the umber. Oh yeah, there. Now, lay a little highlight on here. Just a little. Just a little. Let it break. And a little touch over in here. There. Now, let's use the fan brush a little bit today. I'll use a little bit of the yellow and green that's laying down here, and we'll begin popping in all kind of little grassy areas. Just let them run right on back into the deep woods here. Very soft, very quiet. There we go. Look at the depth in there already. And we really haven't done anything. We didn't paint any water. It just happened. We really haven't done a great deal. There. Okay, now I'm going to grab the bottom of these to clean them up and also to create reflections. Just pull across. And when you pull this across, try to keep these lines as straight as possible. This way. Don't want your water to run out of the pitcher. Now, a little bit of magic white, a little touch of brown into it to dull it. And we can begin adding some water lines in here. All kind of little things happening. We just sort of let this little body of water wander around the distance. We don't know where it's going back here. We really don't care. Just letting it have fun. There. Okay, let's take a little more of the white, magic white, a little yellow ochre, maybe a little touch of the permanent red into it. And let's put some highlights on this little tree. Ooh, that was pretty. There we go. Just let them run right out of your brush. They hide in there. Sometimes you have to just push them out. But they're in there. Okay. Now, let's take a little more of the brown and ochre mixed together. Van Dyke brown and burn umber. And begin making some more land masses right out through here. And maybe there's another one over here. I know. Just had an idea here. We'll do that one like that. And we'll make a nice little bank right here. I need a little place so I can go out here and set and fish and catch that big old bass that lives out here. There. Now we can add a little bit of highlight to that. Just right along the top here. So I want to make this look high. Then, strokes are very important. The angle of the strokes here. There we go. Knew you could do it. Now, a little bit of highlight on this over in here. Like so. And with a large brush, once again, we'll grab this and pull down. Straight down. And then just gently come across. Same thing over here. Just pull down. Okay, now, I'm going to firm this one up a little bit. He got a little weak on the end, so we'll just firm him up. touch of highlight on him. Let a little light play through there and strike him. Little water line. There we go. Now, you can right there. Just bring it right on down. There. A little bit of highlight. Like so. Large brush, pull down, just to create the illusion of water. In painting you work with a great deal of illusions. There. A little bit of the magic white, make us a water line. There we go. Now we'll take the fan brush, a little bit of yellow and ochre. Looks like there's a little permanent red in there. Just whatever happens to be laying around your palette. There we go. These pictures are designed as guides for you. With the ideas that we give you here, we hope that you'll just go absolutely wild with this and paint your own masterpieces. Put your own dreams on canvas. Because painting should make you happy. Okay, let's take a little touch of the magic white, a little bit of yellow, and let's put a happy little bush that lives right here. There he is. Okay, and we just sort of bring this together back here. I want a little darker paint in there so it looks like it's going back into the woods. Okay, now, let's see what we're going to do over here on this other side. Maybe there's another little projection that comes right out here like this. Who knows? It's your world. You create your own visions here. And we need something for it to sit on. So there we are. What I did there was just picked up a little bit of the magic white. So I can put just a very small amount of highlight into that. Don't want a lot, just a tiny bit. Okay, now we'll take the large brush, grab the bottom of it again, and pull down. Always need these reflections. Then come across. And let's put some little water lines underneath these. There we go. Now maybe out here on this little peninsula that we built, maybe there's an old tree lives out here. If you're going out here to fish, you need a nice tree to sit underneath. Keep the sun off your head. So we'll just run an old tree right up through here. Let's give him a other side here. There. Trees need two sides. Now we'll take just a tiny bit of the permanent red mixed with some umber, and let's put some highlight on here. Just touch and pull the knife up. There we go. A little bit up in here, like so. And let's put a happy little limb out here. Maybe that limb goes out like that. There, and drops back into the painting. Who knows? Just drops right back in. There. A little bit of highlight on the limb. a little bit of reflected light on the other side. I'm just going to use a little Prussian blue, just to create the illusion of a little reflected light, like so. There. Now, when that one dries, you'll be able to feel the bark on him. Okay. Now, I need a lot of little limbs, and we don't have much time. So let me just shoot some in here. There we go. Just drop them in. There. Just put them in. Maybe there's a little one that comes right out here. It lives right out through there. Now, when you're doing this at home, use a liner brush with a little bit of thin oil. And let's try something a little different today. Maybe we'll put highlights or leaves on here just using the palette knife. And then we'll take a little bit of sap green mixed with some ochre. Just mix it till it's marbly. There. A little bit of paint on the knife, and we're just barely going to let it touch the canvas. Just barely touch. Then we can drop some little brighter highlights on there so they stand out a little. Barely let it touch. Just about touching the canvas with it. Maybe there's some right up in here. Okay. Now, let's bring some more stuff right down through here. Like that. Van Dyke brown again, a little bit of burn umber in it. And with a large brush, once again, we'll create a little reflection there. Come straight across. Now then, let's take our fan brush with a little bit of the sap green, yellow, little touch of permanent red here and there. Mix them all up together. Let's put some little grassy areas coming down through here. Now your color is going to begin picking up the brown underneath. It makes all kind of pretty little things happen. Just let it happen. Don't fight it. Maybe we'll take a little touch of highlight, just lay in here. And then we'll run grass around that highlight. I want to keep this part quite dark. Don't want it to get too bright on us. Something like so. Okay. We'll take the knife, make us a happy little water line, just flows along here. And all we're really looking for here is a light area to separate the water from the land. Just to create a separation in here. A few little sticks here and there. And that tree was so much fun, I want to do another one. Maybe right here. Maybe there's a big tree. Just let him fall right off your knife. Great big tree. There we go. A little bit of the permanent red mixed with a little burn umber. And we can drop some happy little highlights on this tree. Like so. And we need some limbs on him. So we'll stick one right about here. Let him go right on off the canvas somewhere. And maybe there's another one over here. Just like that. A little bit of highlight on him. There we go. There we go. A little bit of blue. refracted light. There. Just a little, just a little. Now, back into the brown and just begin dulling it, working it together. Okay. Now, maybe here we'll make some brighter colored leaves on this one. Use some permanent red. And just indication that there's some leaves up in here. There. How's that? And maybe there's a little limb that comes right down through here. Just let these little limbs wander everywhere. They're really pretty. Maybe over in here. Okay. A little bit more of our color. Barely touch your canvas. Barely touch the canvas. Maybe a little bit of bright yellow here. Just to highlight, just a touch. Okay. Let's go right over here. And maybe we'll put just a small little one right here in the foreground. It's just sort of wandering around, having a good time. Just a little tiny one. A little bit of highlight on him. There. And put a couple of limbs on him. Just here and there. A few of them will show. Okay. That gives us some instant limbs. This time I'll use the brush. I'm going to take a little bit of the greenish color here. Let's see. Yellow with a little bit of sap green in it. A lot of paint on the brush. And then all I'm going to do is just touch. Just to make some very loose little leaves hanging around here. Tiny little leaves. Maybe something growing right down at the bottom. Okay, a few little sticks here and there. This painting's getting close to being done. And I think it was a lot of fun. If you were painting along with us at home, I hope you have a happy heart by now and you're really beginning to stand back and admire what you've done. And oh, it's just fantastic what can be done. All you need to do is practice a little bit. And take the basic technique that we give you here and use it. Okay. One little thing that sometimes is fun. Maybe we'll put some little things out here in the water. I'll start with using a little bit of yellow and a little bit of ochre right underneath it. Just like so. And some Van Dyke brown all the way under the bottom of it. Then with a nice clean fan brush, very gently, just going to lift up. Just lift up. There we go, just lift it up. Let all these little things happen. Just some little things floating around in the water. And let's take a little more of the magic white. And just put a little water line underneath here. Like so. Just gives it a little something in the water to break it up a little. There. think we're just about ready to call this one finished. So let me get a little bit of thin oil here, and we'll sign this one. And next week, we're going to be doing a black canvas. So you can pick up one at your local art store if you're preparing it yourself, paint it with a flat black acrylic, and allow it to dry. And next week, we'll do a fantastic picture. So until then, from all of us here, God bless and happy painting. Welcome back. Thought today we'd do a black canvas that has maybe a happy little waterfall and a bubbling little stream running down through it. Now, I went ahead and prepared the canvas to save a little bit of time. If you're doing this at home, this is a black canvas that's painted with a flat black acrylic and allowed to dry. Then I've taken and made a circle here of alizarin crimson. The top is Prussian blue, and the bottom half of the canvas I've covered with a layer of blue and Van Dyke brown, Prussian blue and Van Dyke brown, and then just wiped it all together. So let's make some happy little clouds in the sky. I'm going to start with a fan brush and a little bit of titanium white, very small amount. And we'll begin building some happy little clouds here. Very little paint because it's going to pick up the color that's underneath and just make all kind of happy little things happen. There we go. Just let it bounce through the sky and play. See how it's picking up the blue? There. Okay, now maybe there's another little cloud right here. Just let these clouds just float around wherever you think there should be one. Okay, there we go. And just let them feather back. Okay, now with the large brush, I'm going to very gently blend the bottom of these clouds out. Okay, now we'll do this one. Just the bottom of the cloud. We don't want to touch the top yet. And then we'll fluff it up a little bit. And then just gently blend it. Super nice little way to make clouds. And we'll put a few more little clouds in here. Maybe there's one right here. Just floating around. Now, these black canvases are so much fun. We've done quite a few of them on this series because we've had so many requests for them. There we go. Just let him float around the sky. Blend it out, not touching the top of the cloud. Just little circles, little tiny circles. Fluff it up a little bit, then blend it out. Okay, and you do these clouds in layers. Do the one that's farthest away first and work towards yourself. Okay, a little bit more of the titanium white, and maybe there's a nice one here. Keep your brush moving. Keep it moving at all times. You don't want to end up with great big cotton balls up in the sky. There. There we go. And with a large brush, we'll just blend that out, not touching the top edge. And here it's beginning to touch the crimson. So we're getting a difference in values now, a difference in colors. Okay. Maybe one more little cloud. A little fluffy one right here. Okay. There we are. That gives us a nice little cloud. We'll blend the bottom of it out. Okay. Then blend it out. Super simple, nice little way to make clouds. And the black canvas works fantastic. Now I'll clean the brushes. Okay. There we go. Now let's make some little evergreens back in the distance here. And for that, I'll take some Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson, and a little touch of Prussian blue. We're looking for a color that looks black here, very, very dark. Load a lot of paint into the fan brush, just load it full. There. And we'll just make little indications of trees way back here in the distance. Touch the canvas and go downward, just so we have silhouettes. There we go. This is a nice way to make a lot of little tree indications very rapidly. Save you a lot of time. Okay. And we can put a little detail here and there on some of them. Maybe they're a little larger. But mostly just looking for indications. Okay. Now, let it just come right down the hill here. Just like so. Okay. Now maybe over here there's a nice one, bigger one. Some little ones beside him. This is your world, so let your imagination go crazy. Whatever makes you happy, you put in your world. Okay, just about got a nice indication of a tree line back here now. There we go. Now maybe here and there, you want to put a little more detail in a few of these trees. And that'll indicate they're a little bit closer to you. Okay. And here I'm just putting a little color on. Okay, now let's start and make a little tiny waterfall that's far off in the distance. I've added a very, very slight amount of magic white to the paint, just to thin it a little bit. And maybe my waterfall will be here and we'll have a babbling little brook coming down. So let's start right about here and go across and let it fall. Just across and down. Try to do that in one stroke so the lines come all the way down. And then we'll begin putting some little foamy things where it's hitting here. Let it begin working forward. There we go. Just all these happy little things happening in here. Okay. And once again, I have a very small amount of magic white mixed with my titanium white, just to make it a tiny bit thinner. You know, when you have a babbling little brook running down through here, a lot of times you have little tiny stones under the water where the water will hit and bounce and play. There we go. You might not see that stone, but he's there. Just create some interesting little things in here. And the water hits and plays and bounces around. Maybe there's another little stone right here. Look at that son of a gun. Isn't that fun? I sincerely hope you're painting along with us today, because this is a fun picture and it teaches you so many things. Oh, maybe there's another one right there. Just let your imagination take you wherever you want to go. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back into my dark color here and put a few trees that are a little bit closer sitting down here on the hill. There we are. Okay. Now let's take a little bit of cad yellow and sap green mixed together. Maybe we'll put a tiny, tiny bit of ochre in it too, just to dull it down a little bit. There we go. And let's have some grassy little areas coming down through here. Just touch, push, make the fan brush bend upward. I want to create the illusion of a hill coming down. There we go. Don't let it get too bright on you. All kind of little grassy things happening. And maybe back here, maybe, tell you what, let's put a nice cliff back here in front of this little waterfall. That'll push everything back quite a bit. Like so. There we are. And I'm going to take just the tiniest amount of burnt umber. Just put a little highlight up here. Just a tiny bit. And angles are very important when you're doing rocks. Watch the angles. There. Now that sort of pushes the waterfall back a little bit further. Creates a little more distance, a little more depth in the painting. And then we can put some happy little things going right up the side here. And just let them fade right out to nothing. There we go. And maybe with a little bit of Van Dyke brown, we'll put a few little stones and some banks and stuff right along in here. Just wherever you want them. And I'm going to highlight those with burnt umber, just a little bit. Okay, and then we'll go back to our little grassy color here and bring it all together. Okay. Now let's come over on this side of the canvas. And I'll use a 1-inch brush. I'll be a little bit faster. And we'll take some Van Dyke brown, a little crimson, tiny bit of blue. And we'll put some happy little things happening over here and begin closing this little waterfall in. There. Okay. Bend that brush. Really push it. Okay, now, use a little tiny bit of magic white on the 1-inch brush, and we'll go into some cad yellow and back to the sap green. A little bit of ochre added to it, just to dull it down. Don't want it to get too bright on us. I bet you never imagined you could paint a waterfall like this, and if you're painting along with us, you have a pretty good picture going already. There we go. Now, let's drop in another little bush right here. And I'll go back to the fan brush now and begin laying in some little grassy areas, just going right up the hill here. Make that brush bend upward. There. Now with a little bit of the Van Dyke brown, we'll put some little banks in here. There we go. Just let them protrude right out into the water. All right. We're beginning to have a waterfall here. Bubbling little stream. Aren't these black canvases fun, though? We have an absolute ball teaching you how to do these. Okay, a little tiny bit of the burnt umber, just to highlight a little. Okay. Now back to my fan brush, and we'll bring all this together. very dark back in here. There. Now, bring this together, and we'll be ready to play some more here in the water. Okay. Alrighty, let's get the old fan brush here and finish up the stream, and then we can play a little bit. I think we have a few minutes here, and we can just have some fun. A little touch of the magic white, firm white, mixed together, and we can begin splashing water all up against the rocks and the stones and the banks here. Let it splash. Maybe once in a while it runs up on there a little bit. There we go. There's another one of those little stones under the water. You knew it was there, didn't you? You just wanted to see if I'd remember and put it in. There. Look at all the actions happening in that water. That's what makes this so much fun. There he went again, right up the side. All the little actions in the water. Moving water is something we avoid so often, and it's so much fun. But it's like everything else. It takes a little bit of practice. And turn your fan brush from one side to the other. You'll find that one side bends better than the other one does. And you'll have to experiment. Every single fan brush in the world has its own personality. And you have to make friends with a little rascal. I'll tell you what. Let's put a happy little stone right out here in the water. At least one. If we have time, maybe we'll put a couple more in. That was Van Dyke Brown, and now I go back to the umber. Put some little highlights on it. And we'll wrap some water right around that stone. Splash a little bit up here and there, and then, isn't that something? As I say, after all these years of painting, it still fascinates me that this works like this, and it works for people who've never painted. We see it every day in the classroom. Okay, let's take the knife now and just make a few little twigs and sticks here and there. All I'm doing is using a clean knife and scraping right through the paint. Makes it look like little twigs and little sticks. Okay. Well, you feeling brave today? Let's do some crazies. I think we have time here. I'm gonna take some Van Dyke Brown on the knife. Get a lot of Van Dyke Brown. And maybe there's a great big tree that lives right here. Maybe this old tree, maybe he's tired and maybe he's dead. Let's do a dead tree. He's fixing to fall over and make a natural bridge right across this little stream. And the water will play around him and have fun and just have a good time. You know, probably, to me, one of the nicest sounds in the world is listening to a little stream as it bubbles along, plays and hits the rocks and the stones. In Alaska, I have a great deal of fun going out in the woods and just sitting next to a stream and listening to it. Okay, and let's take a tiny bit of permanent red and some burnt umber mixed together. And we'll lay a little bit of highlight on this tree, just enough to get it to stand out. There we go. here and there. Just where you think light will strike us. Okay. Now the other side, I'll use a little bit of Prussian blue, just to indicate a little reflected light. Just a little bit. And all we're doing here is touching the canvas and allowing it to pull the paint off the knife. It's like taking the bus and leaving the driving to us. Let the knife do the work. And this is just a little Van Dyke brown. I'm just sort of bringing it all together now to give it a nice bark appearance. All I'm doing is touching and pulling the knife straight out. And let's take the fan brush. And let's take a little bit of the Van Dyke brown. A little bit of umber mixed with it. Just mix it on the brush. And let's put a few, if this is a dead tree, let's put a few limbs hanging here and there on it. Just touch and let the fan brush go. Just touch straight on. Maybe there's a big old limb hangs way out like that. Make him a little bit wider. Gotta make him strong. There we go. And, oh, here's one right here. I see him. Maybe he sort of curls around. Like that. I think when I was a little boy, that's the size limb my mother used to get to punish me when I was bad. Whew. Actually, I was raised in Florida, and my mother used to use palmettos. And if she sees this, she's going to kill me for telling you. But she knows that she's my favorite lady in the whole world, so I think she'll forgive me. There. Just a few little limbs here. Maybe there's one we can't see. It's on up here on the tree. Can't see where it starts, but it just sort of hangs down here. Give him a little arm. Now, clean the brush. And I'll take a little bit of the permanent red and burnt umber mixed together. There we go. And we'll highlight the limbs a little. Just touch. And follow your limb right on down. Like so. This burnt umber is a beautiful color. There. Okay, just highlight it a little bit. Just so it stands out a little. Doesn't have to be real bright. Little touch over here. All right. Now, just take a little tiny bit of the yellow and green and put some little grassy things around his tree's foots, just to bring him into the painting a little better. Let him sit up here. And maybe we want to put a little tree on the other side too. Maybe there's just a tiny little tree way back here in the distance. There we go. Let's get brave. Maybe there's two trees. And we'll take a little bit of white and mix it with a little bit of umber. And just touch, just to give some little indications. Don't want to get too bright. And with the liner brush, let's open the oil here. Take a little bit of the thin oil, Van Dyke brown, a little umber. Just mix it a little bit thin. We'll just put some little indications of limbs on here. Just here and there. Like so. Just here and there. Now I'm going to take a little of the magic white, a little yellow, a little tiny bit of ochre mixed with it. Load a lot of paint into the bristles. And we'll just drop a few little leaf indications on there. Just here and there. There we go. I think we got him there. Okay, maybe a stick or two right here in front of the tree. I think we've about got this rascal finished. So let me take a little bit of thin oil, a little permanent red, and we'll sign this almighty painting and call him done. Mix your paint till it's almost thin as water, then you can just write with it. Shoop, there we are. Just let it go. Next week, if you're painting along with us, we'll be doing a white canvas. So have your canvas ready, your almighty easel set up, and we'll be waiting for you here. Until then, from all of us here, happy painting.